What's good, YouTube? It's your boy K Flex. I'm back here with yet another video, and ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna get into the Xavien Howard news. Okay, we're gonna dig into it some more, and basically, right now I'm gonna answer a question of what would be fair compensation for a trade for Xavien Howard, because let's be honest, that's a real option on the table at this particular point. Where we're at with it, that's a real potential option, and I hate to say it, and I hate for this to be the case, but we cannot act like it's not an option. Now, real quick, shout out to people like this video before they even heard this sentence. Now, let's get into the video. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, let's break down pretty much how we got into this situation so that we can then break down exactly what would be fair compensation and honestly what I would do in this situation. And a lot of people are not going to like what I would do, but I'm going to tell you straight up what I would do, and I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, and a lot of people might not agree with this, but I'm going to get into it. But first and foremost, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, Xavien Howard signed a contract 2 years ago, right? And apparently, you know what I'm saying, when we gave him the contract, he was coming off a knee injury, whatever the case may be. We paid him, gave him some security, and we did the right thing, everything that we could do from a process standpoint to make sure that we had our main guy wrapped up and that we had still money for the future. We did everything perfectly, but now all of a sudden, okay, Xavien Howard has a fantastic season. He now fires his agent. He now wants to get paid more. He now isn't showing up to minicamp, mandatory minicamp. He now is taking fines. So now we're in a situation where it kind of a standstill where it's like, are we going to pay Xavien Howard, or what are the options that we have? We only have a few options, okay? Now, I just want to say, growing up, you know, back in the day at least, and I know I'm gonna sound old, and I always hated when old people used to say back in the day, back in my day, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm only 24, but back in my day, yo, contracts meant something. Yo, I know these young kids that are growing up today, y'all not even gonna understand. Y'all gonna be thinking that contracts just don't mean nothing. Back in the day, there was a level of sanctity, there was a level of just a level of, if you sign a contract as a man, you supposed to, like, don't sign a contract unless you know what's in that contract. I've known that since I was in elementary school. If you don't know what's on, like, bro, it was a level of just respect with the contract. You know what I'm saying? These days, these motherfuckers treat contracts like IOUs. Bruh. Like IOUs, like they treat it like it's just a verbal, like, yeah, I got you. There's no level of even respect for any of these contracts amongst any sport with any athletes, and it's to the point where it's kind of getting out of hand. Now, I'll give you an example. Zion Williamson. There was reports that in the NBA, Zion Williamson, who plays for the Pelicans, his family wants him out of New Orleans after 2 seasons when he just signed his rookie contract 2 years ago. I don't know if that's true, but bro, are you serious? You're not even going to try? Like, you're not even gonna finish your rookie deal and then go to another team? You're telling me you'd sit after 2 years and be ready to leave already? It's like, what do these contracts mean anymore? And again, when I was growing up, it wasn't like this. Now, a lot of situations have pretty much took away the legitimacy of contracts, and one of those things being, like, we have gave people so many passes that wanted to get out of contracts. Like, if you're in the last year of your rookie deal and your team's not paying you what you deserve, then we've made it okay and acceptable to hold out, which I think is okay and acceptable to hold out in that situation. Or if your team's not putting any pieces around you or something like that, you're losing and you're a veteran, we've made it okay for them to say, you know what, this is morally okay for you to not abide by your contract. We've made this. But just like with anything in life, when you give somebody a mile or an inch, they want to try to take a mile. So just because we have accepted that people break contracts for various reasons, you know, when we've decided, you know, these reasons are right, these reasons are okay, now we got people trying to break contracts in just the worst ways what Xavien Howard's trying to do, which after 2 years after signing and having a good season and then saying, oh, I want another contract after, you know. And this is what happens really when you really just don't draw the line somewhere, okay? In the NFL, or a team never drew the line somewhere, they just appease to these players. And again, I think that you should, honestly, I'm still, and to this day, I don't care about this Xavien Howard situation. I still think if a player is in the last year of his rookie deal, he should, if he holds out, I'm not going to judge him, because first of all, rookie deals, you're not making that much money. And so you can hold out, yes. Well, you're making a lot of money, but you're not making much to your standards. But yes, you can hold out. Or if a player's team is losing a lot, is there certain situations where I'll be like, okay, they're not giving him no help, they're not giving him no O-line, yes, request a trade. But in this situation, when a player literally just got paid that game-changing, that bank-breaking, that highest paid corner money, and then decides, oh, when the market resets, now I want to bet on myself, and now I want more money. It's like, yo, at what point do we draw the line and say that a contract is a contract? Now, so that's how we got to where we're at, and that's going to bring me to my next point of what I would personally do if I was the GM of the Dolphins. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not taking anything less than, to be honest with you, 2 first rounders. And the Rams got, because here's the thing, guys. The Rams got 2 first rounders for Jalen Ramsey. I mean, the Jags got 2 first rounders for Jalen Ramsey. Nobody's looking at Xavien Howard like Jalen Ramsey. Let's just get that out the way right now. All right, we as Dolphin fans, we love Xavien Howard. I've been saying he's on Jalen Ramsey level, but ain't nobody looking at Xavien. If Xavien Howard retires today, nobody's talking to him as like a Hall of Famer. People are already thinking that Jalen Ramsey is going to be a Hall of Famer. He's already a future Hall of Famer. All right, nobody saying Xavien Howard is going to be a Hall of Famer. Besides us Dolphin fans who watch him, ain't nobody saying that. Okay. So let's not, and this is where I guess it kind of plays into our advantage or disadvantage, us being like the Dolphins, we don't get no recognition, is that nobody was looking at Xavien Howard like he was even a top corner until last year. We always knew, but until he got 10 picks, bro, national media and all them wasn't looking at him like that. Yo, he can't, look at his overalls in Madden, they never respected him. He could barely make I think he made an All-Pro second team, but like he could barely make the All-Pro team. Again, he had knee injuries. People weren't looking at him in the same conversation or even breath as Jalen Ramsey. That's the facts. When I said it, it sounded ludicrous. And that's what helps. And so that's why I don't think we're going to be able to get even as much as the Rams got for Jalen Ramsey, because here's the difficult part. Whatever team wants to trade for him, you have to sign him. Again, it's kind of like whatever team trades for him, Xavien Howard is going to have him pretty much like he's going to be sticking him up. Okay? Because once you give up assets, especially if you give up a lot of assets, you literally have to re-sign the player. Like the Rams had to re-sign Jalen Ramsey, or they would have gave up 2 first rounders for a year, or what was it, a year of Jalen Ramsey's service for 2 first rounders, and they didn't win the Super Bowl in that year, so they would have looked really, really stupid. So they literally had to re-sign him. So he pretty much stuck him up. Yeah, I need $20 million. I'm not going down. What are you gonna do? Release me after you gave up 2 first rounders for me? That's how it's gonna be in this situation with Xavien Howard. If we end up having to trade him, because it's about money. So if we end up having to trade him, that team that he gets traded to is going to have to give him a new contract that he wants. I don't know how much he wants. Whether it's the $20 million that Jalen Ramsey got, whether it's a little less, I don't know. They're going to have to give him that contract, and it pretty much he's going to be able to dictate that, because if they trade what he's worth, which is at least a first round and a second round or something, bro, they're going to have no choice but to re-sign him, and that's what's going to make it so hard to trade him. Okay. Well, at least trade him for what he's worth, because any team, teams don't. I don't think teams look at Xavien Howard like we do. So who's going to give up that many assets for Xavien Howard, and then you have to pay him big money, and you know that he already had knee injuries in the past. So that's the thing. There has to be a team out there that is that willing to do that, and even then we'd be getting ripped off. But there would have to be a team that's that willing to do that, and I don't. How many teams are that willing to do that? Now, being said, if again, who knows if we're gonna get fair compensation? There might be teams offering us later round draft picks because they don't know if they're gonna be able to re-sign them. And in that case, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I personally don't care if we get nothing for Xavien Howard. I would keep him on the roster. I had a conversation about this in the past. Literally, if we're not going to get fair compensation, I will call Xavien Howard bluff, and I will keep him on the roster. He signed the contract, and I don't care if he doesn't play another down. I don't care what money he's getting off the book. I do not care. I'm not getting finessed. This is not going to be a Mika situation. You don't have to release every player just because they're upset. That's not what the case like that. But I remember people telling me, "Oh, Mika had to go. He was upset." No, he didn't. He signed the contract. We could have kept him. Xavien Howard signed his contract. We can keep him. If you don't want to play football for us, if you don't want to play under your current contract, don't play. We'll have an all-pro on the bench every game. I don't care. We'll have an all-pro watching from home getting fined. I don't care. But what I'm not going to allow to do is to get finessed again, like we did with Mika. All right, we're not getting finessed again. Even though Mika was not really a finesse, because low-key I thought the Steelers pick was going to be higher because Ben got hurt, but it wasn't. But whatever. We're not going to get finessed. That's the thing. Again, I would rather lose every game with Xavien Howard in street clothes on the sideline because he's mad about a contract than to trade him for something that's not fair, get finessed, and have him on a Super Bowl contender while we're still going to struggle either way it goes. So, again, That's what I'm under. And people ask me, Khalil, you wouldn't or Flex, you wouldn't rather have a second rounder or a third round? No. Listen, and that's why I'm not a GM. You should be happy. I don't want a second or a third rounder. I need first rounders. And by the way, if we cannot get that, I need Xavien Howard on the bench in street clothes. I don't care. I don't care. He don't want to play. You just, I guess you're just not going to play no more. And then as soon as I started thinking this, I seen an article. This article about Calvin Johnson. And in this article, he says the Lions would not let him play elsewhere, and that's part of the reason why he retired, okay? He didn't really feel like he was worth fighting through the injuries that he was sustaining with the Lions, who are a terrible team. But he said he wanted to play elsewhere, the Lions wouldn't let him, and he retired. Well, guess what, Xavien Howard? It looks like you about to be on the Calvin Johnson career path, because you know what? If I'm the Dolphins, I'm doing the exact same thing the Lions did. Bro, if he comes and tells me he wants to trade, I'm simply saying no. Not unless I can get the super fair compensation, and again, there's no fair trade. I don't think. Even if we get 2 first rounders, look who the Jags end up getting. They end up giving with the Ramsey picks. They end up getting 2 firsts and a 4th. The 4th rounder, I don't know, but he hasn't played yet. They got Travis Etienne with that pick, and he hasn't played yet. He's a running back. And then they got Chasen, I think a edge rusher who didn't really do nothing last year. But obviously, you know, these guys have to develop. But they got 3 picks, and all of them were after the 20th pick, and none of these players that they drafted are revolutionary or anything. They're not as good as Jalen Ramsey. So again, even if we get 2 first rounders, it's not fair, but hell, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, we need to get 2 first rounders, or guess what? I wouldn't take nothing. And if you finna retire, well, see you in Cancun. But yo, you're not. We're not like you signed the contract, and the simple fact is we're playing poker. Okay. So if you don't want to show up ever and you don't want to ever play football again, or at least you want to sit out for the rest of your 2 years, go ahead and do that. I don't care how it looks in the PR. I don't care how it looks in publicity. Yo, again, the line has to be drawn somewhere. If the line's never drawn, then people are just going to go crazy. It's shown in like, bro, I'll give you an example. Twitch. You guys know what Twitch is? Twitch.com, Twitch.tv. Yo, I remember I first got on. It was a gaming site, and then, you know, they started doing the just chatting because people like used to get on there and just chat. So they started doing just chat. And then, yo, you know, certain people would wear bikinis and all this stuff, and they weren't getting banned or anything like that. Even though that's what the site was never about that, but they wasn't getting banned or whatever. So they start wearing bikinis. So Twitch didn't draw the line. Okay, they can wear bikinis. Then they start hopping in hot tubs at bikinis. In bikinis on stream. Twitch still didn't draw the line. You know what they did? They made a whole other category for hot tub streamers. No, it's like at a certain point you got to draw the line, or these people are going to continue to push the envelope. And now it's to the point where they are licking mics in bikinis. Like it's completely whatever against everything what Twitch was made for. So to the point now where Twitch is now starting to ban these people that are doing this type of things, but it's too late. You should have drew the line a long time ago, and you would never had this. Again, so I asked the Dolphins, you need to draw a line right now, or it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Especially with Xavien Howard as a leader of this team, and I don't even consider him a leader. If he's not going to show up to training, I don't consider him the leader. But if he's going to be a leader of this team, then you have to show up. And again, it's going to set a dangerous precedent for anybody. I think, you know, what's the problem with this? Let's just get him a new contract with a bunch of incentives, okay? If he's okay with that, if it's really based off his performance, let's pay him the $12 million and get him a contract with a bunch of incentives for a couple of more million. It don't even have to be on the records. You can do it under the table. Yo, with Steven Ross, listen, if you get 6 picks this year, I'll give you a $3 million. It could be under the table stuff, but regardless, get him see if he accepts that or whatever. If he doesn't want to, guys, listen, I'm keeping him on the roster. I will take nothing for him rather than before I give it off, and I mean that. I will take nothing. I will literally, and that's just the pride in me. It might be the foot. I will take nothing before we get ran over. I'm serious. Okay. Again, if it comes to a point where Xavien Howard literally has to sit out for 2 years to get out of his contract, I don't know what he would have to do to get. I'm taking it because at the end of the day, again, you have to draw the line somewhere. Anyways, get in the comments and let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna end this video now. Like, comment, subscribe, roll to 11. Okay, flexing. I'm out.